this very happy occasion on this beautiful day for my family and for all the elected and appointed officials of the town of Woodbridge. I especially want to thank the voters of Woodbridge for the overwhelming vote of support they gave us on May 2nd. I look forward to working with the members of the Board of Selectmen, Beth Heller, Lawrence Grothier, and Tom Kennefick, and our newly elected members, Susan Jacobs and Greg Coyne. I want to welcome Father Bob Lord, who's a friend of our family, for being here today. Father Bob is a weekend resident of Woodbridge, as you can find him down the street helping Father Gene minister to his parish almost every weekend from the spring to the fall. In the winter, he goes to another location. I also want to thank Liz Smolinski, who's a teacher at Amity, for her excellent rendition of God Bless America. I invited Judge Joe Flynn, a friend of mine since our childhood in Ansonia, to swear me in for the third time, since he has done such a good job the past 2 times. And I welcome again to Woodbridge Judge James Kennefick, a one-time resident of Woodbridge, even though for a brief period, who was a classmate of mine at the University of Connecticut School of Law, and who will administer the oath to his son, Tom. Tom is following in his father's footsteps and volunteering for public service. Judge Kennefick served for more than 20 years as a member and as chair of the Guilford Board of Education. We know that Senator Blumenthal couldn't make it here today, but he's been a frequent visitor to Woodbridge, both as Attorney General and now as Senator, as he continues to work tirelessly for the citizens of our state. I'd also like to welcome Congressman Chris Murphy this afternoon from the 5th Congressional District. Incidentally, he was a classmate of my son Michael and my daughter-in-law Lindsay at the University of Connecticut School of Law. I also like to thank Senator Joe Crisco and Representative Themis Claridis, both of whom are in special session today, for their efforts on behalf of the town of Woodbridge in the General Assembly. I'm pleased that Dr. Guy Stella, Woodbridge Superintendent of Schools, is here. The Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance have worked together to support the goals of Dr. Stella and the Board of Education to prepare students for life in the 21st century. I'd like to congratulate the teachers at the Beecher Road School and the students in the 6th grade. Out of the 20 most highly performing districts in the state, the 6th grade class scored #1 in reading, #2 in mathematics, and #1 in writing. Thank you, Dr. I also know, of course, that Congressman DeLauro could not be here today. But be it constituent service or obtaining federal grants, she is unsurpassed. I'd like to especially thank her for all the efforts in obtaining grants from the United States Department of Agriculture to make the Massaro Community Farm a reality. Thank you, Rose. I'm proud of our accomplishments over the past 2 years. In these tough economic times, we have benefited from sound fiscal management. We have been able to realize a slight decrease in the mill rate and in property taxes for the upcoming year, while we're able to fully fund education and other important services, and at the same time attain a AAA Moody's credit rating, the highest rating a town our size can achieve. This has been accomplished by the cooperation of our town boards and commissions with the boards of Selectmen and Finance, and the efforts of our award-winning Director of Operations and Finance, Tony Genovese. We completed the purchase of the Racebrook track and the Shepherd track on Litchfield Turnpike for open space. There are now more than 1,000 acres of open space owned by the town of Woodbridge. We authorized the use of the town-owned Massaro Farm for community-sponsored agriculture, which sells locally grown produce and has donated over 2 tons of produce to charitable organizations in the greater New Haven area. We've addressed the flooding of the West River. The Merritt Avenue Bridge will be rebuilt with 80% of funding from the state of Connecticut and 20% from Woodbridge, the funds for which are already in place. As a result of a flood mitigation plan funded by the town, it was determined that the Pond Lily Dam, owned by the New Haven Land Trust and located over the town line in New Haven, contributes to the flooding of the West River. The removal of the dam will require the consent of the New Haven Land Trust and a permit from the Department of Environmental Protection. The town has received a $60,000 grant for the design of the removal of the Pond Lily Dam. The town has retained engineers who have prepared a preliminary design for the removal of the dam. And we are investigating a grant from the state of Connecticut to partially fund the dam's removal. We will complete the interior restoration of the former fire station for use as a fitness center for town residents and for a meeting room. We are presently negotiating a long-term lease for the Country Club of Woodbridge as a golf, tennis, pool, and restaurant facility. We are also exploring the sale of the 13 acres of land owned by the town of Woodbridge on Newfield Road, adjacent to the Country Club of Woodbridge, to a developer for 55 and over housing. This will require the approval of a special town meeting and a change of zone by the Town Planning and Zoning Commission. If approved, the proceeds of this sale would be applied to reduce the principal of our $7 million debt. The real property taxes realized from the sale of the residential units would be applied toward the payment of the remaining debt. We will be constructing sidewalks on both sides of Amity Road, from Bradley Road to Lucy Street, to facilitate pedestrian use in our commercial district, the cost of which is being funded through grants totaling $290,000 from the state of Connecticut. We'll be restoring the Woodbridge room at the town library. As many of you know, Orange and Bethany withdrew from the district animal control located in Woodbridge. The Board of Selectmen has established a Woodbridge Animal Control located in the same place on Bradley Road under the control of the Woodbridge Chief of Police, Gene Marcucci, who was appointed 2 animal control officers effective July 1, 2011. Last night, the Board of Selectmen approved a contract for animal control services, whereby Woodbridge will provide animal control services to Bethany on a fee basis. The Bethany Board of Selectmen approved the contract on Monday night. As to the future, we need to address our aging infrastructure in regard to the Public Works facility, the Beecher Road School, and an upgrade of the police facility. The Board of Selectmen shortly will be reviewing a proposal for the construction of a new Public Works facility for which more than $1 million has already been allocated. The Beecher Road School Building Committee recently submitted a report for replacement of heating and ventilating systems at the school, some of which date back to 1960. The Board of Selectmen and Board of Finance will review each of these recommendations and develop a plan for implementation over time, consistent with the town's ability to pay, which will be submitted to a special town meeting for approval. Any success we have realized over the past years could not have been done without the cooperation of our town hall staff, many of whom are here today, and without whom our government could not function. I want to thank them for their help and support over the past 5 years, and I look forward to working with them in the next 2 years. We also need to improve and continue to improve communications with our town boards and commissions. One of the things I have learned in my over 30 years of experience as a member of the Board of Selectmen, that progress is made through consensus and civility. I hope in the next 2 years that we will continue to act in a bipartisan way to develop consensus and exercise civility, as we have done in approving the open space purchases, the referendum approving the construction of the new firehouse, and the purchase of the Country Club of Woodbridge. I want to congratulate all of the elected officials and appointed members of the town boards and commission for their willingness to serve Woodbridge and make it a better place to live. Finally, I thank the voters of Woodbridge for their overwhelming vote of support. I look forward to working with all of you and the citizens of Woodbridge over the next 2 years.